Hello, welcome to the IELTS speaking test, and we'll start with part two. So, describe an important decision you made on your own, and you should say what the decision was, where you were, and how you made the decision, and explain why it was difficult to make. So, your 1 minute of preparation start now.
So up to now, I've been making a lot of decisions in my life. However, when it comes to the most important one, I would say that it should be the time when I had to consider which subject would be my major one. So I remember when I was in grade six, when I was in secondary school, I had to choose a subject to learn advanced. During that time, was I was a big fan of math. Like I have been studying math for the whole time when I was in primary school. With my competence, I was able to solve different kinds of math problems. Furthermore, math is recognized as a decent subject that is necessary in any aspect of our daily life. Yet, my parents tried to convince me that I should try learning English as my major due to the advantages it provides me. Provides. First, at first I rejected since there was no reasons for me to change my major subject, especially with my favorite one. Afterward, I realized that I could leverage English in achieving a scholarship, which would provide me a good chance in accessing higher education abroad. Hence, I decided to major in English, and up to now, I'm still an English majoring student with the hope of obtaining a scholarship.
Okay. So let's move on to part three. And in part three, I will be asking you some questions related to part two. So, first question, what might happen if children live too dependent on their parents?
To be honest, there's no rule banning children from living dependently on their parents since they are capable of doing things by their own. They need to be parent with the aim of being independent in the future. However, if they become overly dependent on their parents, it can have several consequences for their development and well-being. When parents consistently take lead in interactions, children will lack opportunities to practice self-regulation skills and build independence. Moreover, when kids rely too much on their parents, uh, they will have difficulties in acquiring autonomy. They might find it challenging to set boundaries and assert their independence when parents are likely to do everything for them.
Okay. Second one, what are the effects of parenting on their children's development?
From my perspective, I would definitely assert that the impact of parenting on their child's development, is profound and far-reaching. The parent-child relationship uh, significantly uh, significantly influence communication development. Daily interactions such as talking, educating children will encourage them to socialize more. Moreover, the quality of parent-child interactions also affect how children relate to their siblings and peers.
Okay.
Positive communication between parents and children promotes social and problem-solving skill, contributing to healthy relationships with caregivers and peers.
Okay. What kinds of people tend to live by themselves?
So in our society, people who tend to live by themselves can fall into various categories. For instance, young adults who are just beginning their independence live independent lives may choose to live alone. They might not have found a romantic partner yet, or could be pursuing education or career opportunities that require them to live independently. They set most of their time aside in order to study university, gaining experience, etc., with the aim of obtaining a job and making a living.
Okay, how can parents and teachers help people to live independently?
So I believe that there are several ways for teachers and parents to help young people prepare for independent living. Firstly, personal care is the most vital skill when they live alone. The elderly can encourage physical fitness through activities like sports, jogging, etc. They also can teach young people about the dangers of smoking, drugs, and abusive behaviors. On top of that, educating them to ensure they know how when to seek medical care and how to take medication should be necessary when living independently. Moreover, teachers and parents should assist the younger in money management. They can work together to create a budget involving expenses like rent, bills, food, personal items, and medicine, as well as teaching them how to manage their finances, how to pay bills, withdraw, and deposit money.
Okay, last question. What skills do you think young people need to learn to live independently?
So, as I have mentioned above, the younger can learn from their parents and teacher the skill how to take care of themselves and uh, how how to manage their finance. Uh, and furthermore, they should also acquire some skill like uh, how should they clean their house, how can they cook, or how do they manage their time, like balancing work, study, and personal life? Yeah.
Okay, so that concludes our IELTS speaking test.
So welcome to our IELTS speaking test, and I will be your examiner. And now we will start our part two. Describe an important decision you made on your own. You should say what the decision was, where you were, how you made the decisions, and explain why it was difficult to make. Now you will have 2 minutes to present.
Okay, so making decisions independently can be both very stressful and challenging. So, one significant decision I made on my own was choosing my college major. So, I was in my final year of high school, thinking about my future at my home desk. I was doing research on various fields, and I also reflected on my interests and strengths. And I also looked for advice from my counselors and my family, my peers. And selecting a major can feel very daunting due to its potential impact on our career path and like just overall academic experience. So the decision was very stressful because it required me to envision my long-term goals and align them with my passions. I felt really pressurized because of my responsibility to make a wise choice, because it would shape my educational journey and shape my future careers opportunities. And additionally, the fear of making the wrong choice or backing out of the right choice and potentially regretting it was very overwhelming. And just the multitude of available options made it really challenging to like narrow down and commit to one decision. But after all, I chose business because it was the most suitable major for my interest, and it had really, I feel like it had very promising uh, career prospects, and It's also very flexible. I feel like doing business, you can have various stream of incomes, and it's also one of the most favored measure. So this decision taught me the importance of self-reliance and research in making informed choices. And even when we are faced with uncertainty and pressure. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so now we move on to part three. And in part three, I will ask you some question relating to part two. So the first question, what might happen if children live too dependent on their parents?
So children living too dependent on their parents can hinder children's ability to develop essential life skills and independence. So to be more specific, they may struggle to make decisions, to solve problems, to handle responsibilities on their own, and this dependence can lead to the feelings of inadequacy, the lack of self-confidence, the lack of discipline, and it can also result in difficulties in forming healthy relationship outside their family.
Okay, the second question is, what are the effects of parenting on their children's development?
So, parenting behaviors can greatly influence children's development. So, for instance, authoritative parenting, which includes warmth, support, and consistent discipline, it fosters emotional stability, self-esteem, and social competence in children. But however, authoritarian parenting can, like, for example, just like neglect or over control. It can result in behavioral issues for children, can result in lower self-esteem and challenges in forming healthy relationships.
Okay, so question three, what kinds of people tend to live by themselves?
So people who tend to live by themselves are people who often value their independence and privacy. They might be introverted people or might be people who just prefer solitude over social interaction, like individuals who have a strong sense of self-reliance and enjoy autonomy, and they just prioritize personal space. Uh, and these people, they are more inclined to live independently.
Okay, so the fourth question is, how can parents and teachers help young people to live independently?
So I think parents and teachers can support young people in learning to live independently by teaching them essential life skills such as financial management, cooking, cleaning, and time management, and like encouraging autonomy, fostering problem solving abilities, and providing opportunities for decision making and self expression can also nurture independence in the young people.
Okay, so the last questions, what skills do you think young people need to learn to live independently?
So I think that young people need to learn a range of skills to live independently, including financial literacy, just learning how to do basic household chores, self-care practices, time management, effective communication, and conflict resolution, and also like developing critical thinking, adaptability, resilience, and just emotional control. They are also very crucial for navigating the challenges of independent living. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so that's the end of our speaking test. Rồi, stop đi. Tí mà một cắt hết đúng này. Mệt phết đấy.
Tí đâu cắt, tí đâu cắt.
Cắt đúng này trong mệt phết đấy chứ. Mày có phải dễ chó.
Ok, bye nha.
Rồi, ok, nghỉ nha. Bye.